YouTube world, what's up? It is I, Talia Flores, with another video. And before we get into this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to get into today's topic immediately. From the title of this video, you all guys already know what this topic is going to be about. And that's going to be about representation of people with disabilities in the film industry. And what it means to me that we're starting to create that in this society. Well, for those of you who followed me for a long time and know my story, as a child, there weren't many shows that represented people with disabilities and characters with disabilities. There wasn't any of that. So until I was about 13, I discovered a TV network ran by Nickelodeon, strictly for teenagers, and they had a show on there called Degrassi, and one of the characters in Degrassi, his name was Jimmy Brooks. He was played by Canadian rapper Drake, and he was paralyzed, and he was in a wheelchair. That was the first time I was able to feel connected to somebody in the television world, to be honest. And you know, as a 6th grader growing up, going through puberty, trying to figure out who you want to be, but also having the extra burden of being in a wheelchair. That's a lot. And at the time, I was in a classroom where I was the only girl in my whole entire classroom for that grade. So it was just boys. And all they cared about was watching SmackDown. But me, I didn't care to watch SmackDown. I cared to watch Degrassi every Friday night at 8 o'clock. And I remember I would be in my green bedroom, because at the time we still lived in our condo and plantation. And I would turn on Degrassi and I would watch this character navigate through life in a wheelchair to the best of his ability. And some of the stuff that Jimmy went through, I was going through as a female. So it was really cool to connect. And as I'm older, I appreciate the creators of Degrassi. I appreciate the writers of Degrassi for thinking of the disability community when no one really talked about it in the acting industry, in the film industry, and growing up, after watching Degrassi and after seeing how Jimmy Brooks played out to be, it reminded me that I was going to be okay throughout the rest of my life. So I thank Degrassi for that chance and that hope. I don't think if it wasn't for Degrassi, I don't think I could have ever made it through middle school. Now on to the point where film and representation in the disability community throughout Hollywood is very important. Yes, we may have made progress, but there's still work that needs to be done. Like this past February, I got an email inviting me to do press release for a movie called Come As You Are. I gladly accepted the invitation. And let me just tell you, that movie, phenomenal. It's about 4 friends with disabilities that take a road trip to Vancouver to lose their virginities. Now, I'm not gonna give it away too much, you guys, but if you haven't seen this movie, it's an incredible movie, and it truly means live your life to the best of your ability, no matter what life has in front of you. And if you have to do something crazy, and you have to sneak away to do it, go ahead and do it, despite your disability and despite your obstacles. And sometimes you have to stand up for what you believe in and do what you want to do. 'Cause this right here is just a chair. It's not who you are. It's not who your story is. It's just a chair. So I got a lot from that movie. I embraced the movie. I'm grateful for the experience. But my thing is, we need more TV shows that represent people with disabilities. We need more movies like Margarita with the Straw, Come As You Are. What else? Wonder. That was a good movie. I cried from start to finish. We need more movies like those movies to help kids and the newer generation get a better understanding on how to deal with disabilities, awareness, and self pride. And that's one of the main reasons why I decided to go into the field that I did, creative writing, advocacy. Those things have given me the tools that I need to make sure that films and books like that happen. So, my thing is this: we need more films like that to improve the way people think and see people with disabilities. Because it all starts with us and the creativity that we have. I always say, I can't let my creativity go to waste. I can't let my voice go to waste. I have to keep on striving and striving to be the best that I could be so that I can leave a legacy and be the example for the next generation. And that's what I want you guys to take in, is that representation in film when it comes to people with disabilities means the world to us, because that means we're one step closer to acceptance, we're one step closer to people having a clear understanding, and we're one step closer to be considered just a part of society, no labels, no nothing. And I also feel like if more networks picked up shows based on characters with disabilities, bullying would stop. People would be more accepting and more understanding, and ableism would be less and less. So I take that into consideration, and I just hope that one day I could be in Hollywood one day filming one of my movies and working on the scenes with that. But for now, I just feel like it's important because as a society, we need to focus on inclusion and accepting and being loving toward people with disabilities, and films can be the tool for that. Because not everybody likes picking up a book and reading or studying history, but if you put a film in front of a child, they'll watch it. It's just one of those things. So what I'm saying is that film and representation for people with disabilities is important to me, and it's important to the rest of us. And today I just got done doing an interview with Nick Rosenthal. Shout out to Mick Rosenthal. He is incredible. He is amazing. His parents were responsible for part of Crip Camp, and if you haven't seen that movie on Netflix, that's phenomenal. And I had an hour conversation with him alongside my friend John Wood, and we just all had a good time, and we bonded over politics, New York City pizza, etc., etc. So with that being said, you guys, the reason why I think disability and representation is so important is that we need more role models for the next generation. We need more filmmakers to say, okay, more filmmakers with disabilities in general to write their stories, because we need to be the examples for the next generation coming in. Because after we pass away one day, and after we go on, these kids are going to need something to look up to. And then the cycle repeats itself. Like the other day, I got my Claiming Disability shirt, which means the world to me. And Aaron and Molly, I was speaking to the host of that podcast, phenomenal podcast, by the way. And Erin said something that made me cry. She said, "I'm passing you over the torch. You're the next generation. Here you go. Now go wheel with this torch." And I just couldn't help but get emotional at what she said, because it's the truth. We are the next generation. We are the next set of adults that need to be role models for these kids and adults, even, and teenagers. So yeah, that's why we need disability representation in film. This is exactly why. Because we need to be the next generation of examples, and I hope that one day, the same way Aaron K told me, handed me the torch, which I carry with honor, is the same thing I want to do to a young girl that's my age now, to say, here you go. Take that torch. I believe in you. Now's your time to go. So, with that being said, you guys, this is Talia Flores, over and out. Bye, y'all.